Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Late back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing X-Men 1 review here on the channel. So yeah, I'm finally starting to review the X-Men franchise now. Hopefully review them all. Currently I'm on a rewatch, and yeah, I'm trying to review them so for the channel. I've already finished the DCU, now I'm moving on to the X-Men universe. Currently, right now, the X-Men universe, I haven't really reviewed anything from it, so that's important. So I'm reviewing all of it, and yeah, that's it for me. Let's I guess get in the review. So X-Men, number one, in the year about 2000. In in my opinion, my initial reaction to this movie is it's a good movie, really enjoyable. I think it was a good origin story. It was a good start to the franchise. It's pretty good. So yeah, I guess let's get into the review here. So let's go start. Firstly, let's start with the positives of the this movie. Um, so the first positive I'm gonna say is it was like I just said 2 seconds ago. It was a good start for the franchise. Like I thought it was a really solid start for the franchise. I wouldn't have changed anything to start it off. Like I thought they did it beautifully, especially with some stuff as like the villains, who you introduced as the initial team. Like you had to have, of course, Professor X, Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey. You I would say Wolverine too, but it depends. But like for the villains, you really needed to have Magneto, but it didn't really matter what two you had left. Just it had to be Magneto and fellow mutants, just because you don't want to introduce it on like a high note where mutants are being hunted or something like that. So that's something I really liked about the X-Men franchise as well. So yeah. The next thing would be characters. Like I just said, we got the mentions of like Professor X, Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Mystique. All these different characters, and these are some really good characters. Like you're understanding, they're very layered in exactly what they're doing. For example, Magneto, you kind of understand what he's doing. I mean, your understanding gets better throughout the movies, but you you somewhat understand what he's doing in this movie, why he's doing it. Same with like the whole Brotherhood, pretty much. Uh, you could kind of see that there's two different points of views for these two teams and all that. And I think the characters, I think they did a really well done job in just the whole way that these characters are. You really captured away Wolverine. I must say though, Cyclops isn't captured too well, in all honesty, in these movies. That's just, I don't know if I'll save that for a negative, but I don't know. I didn't really like Cyclops in the first three movies, but I did like him later on. But Cyclops has got to be top 25 favorite comic book characters. I really enjoy him, but I feel like it did it very did Cyclops very dirty in these movies. I feel like he's just there, to be honest with you guys. Uh huh. So yeah. The writing, the plot, the story. I just include them all there. But the plot was really on point, like I just said. Uh, you want to make sure this movie's filled with mutants versus mutants to kind of introduce it and grasp on the field. I thought Bryan Singer, I think he wrote it, or whoever the writers were, they did an excellent job of just showcasing the X Men in this movie, giving a lot of detail into these characters, uh, doing putting in kind of themes to this. Because if you notice, a common theme with the X Men is they're kind of too for the oppressed minorities. That's how most people relate to them and stuff like that. Where it's kind of the similar situation with mutants, for example. So that's something else that they did really well, which I really like about all the X Men movies, and I'm talking about all of them. Is that reason? Um, yeah, and then again, Magneto was written well. Same with Mystique. Sabretooth again. I don't even know how I feel about Sabretooth, to be honest with you. Cyclops and Sabretooth, I don't really like too much in these movies, in all honesty. Not a huge fan of them. But other than that, the ratings was pretty well done. Really enjoyable. Story again, pretty good. I liked how they showed, like, kind of them coming. They didn't really come together, but just adding new members and just it kept the plot very interesting as well. Uh, so yeah, next would probably be the acting. Now I think specifically, I think Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and Ian McKellen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Uh, and also Halle Berry did a pretty good job. I think those four stand out easy. Those guys, those four are just they put on phenomenal acting jobs. They're born for. I'm pretty. They were made for these characters. Like, I thought they play all these characters really well. Like, I really like Halle Berry's Storm. It was really well done. Same with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Really, I just really enjoyed that a lot. Same with Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier. Fantastic. Wouldn't have picked anyone else for the older one, at least. Um, Same with Ian McClellan as Magneto. I thought it was really interesting, really enjoyable. I thought it was really well spot on job they did there. All right, let's move on to some of these negatives. Um, so the first one would probably be, you know what I'll just say, is probably gonna be like again the cyborg, the Sabretooth thing. Like these characters are way different in the comics. Like they played Cyborg very stupidly in terms of just the way he acts. Like Cyborg in I feel as if Cyborg wasn't really talking much. He didn't get much dialogue. Uh, in the comics and stuff, Cyborg is more of the leader, and he takes charge and all that. And he's fully well said he talks more as well, and he has more layers to him as a character. Whereas in this movie, he's just there. To be honest, with you guys, he's just like he in the lines he has, he's mainly fighting off Logan, but that does happen. But again, you have to remember these two get like really good, like they become friends and stuff like that. And these three movies, I know we're talking about this movie, but in the three movies that Cyclops was in, him and Logan never had that good connection. They were just he was kind of just there, to be honest with you guys, and I wasn't a huge fan of that, to be honest with you guys. So yeah. And then Sabretooth again, like he was just I don't know, he wasn't too good. I mean Sabretooth again was just like a random henchman. And I had no care for him whatsoever. Same with Cyclops in all honesty. Um the CGI was good for the time, but it doesn't really hold up to today's standards. Like this was a CGI fest. I can't even lie. The CGI was not good. And I know you're about to say, "Oh, it's the 2000. It's not gonna have good CGI. It's not gonna hold up to today's standards." And yeah, I understand that. But there's been some movies where the CGI actually stands. I mean, the CGI stands or holds up today's quality. Sorry about that. Uh, and I think the X Men. I don't know. Feel like Fox kind of cheaped out on the CGI use in this movie. To be honest with you, uh, but yeah. The next one would probably be the action scenes felt a little bit long. Yeah, I think that, a lot of a very tough thing, especially with these kind of characters, especially with like guys like Wolverine and Sabretooth, is the fact that they're both pretty much invincible, and you have to find a way to make them interesting. Like you would have the same problem with like Superman and Zod, for example, or uh, Deadpool and Wolverine, or whatever. You would have to find a way to make it interesting, like whether it's the use of comedy, whether it's the use of just they do some crazy things. Whereas pretty much Wolverine and Sabretooth were just punching each other pretty much. Well, they were using their claws and stuff, but like I felt it was kind of stupid in my opinion, just the way it was. in a lot of these fight scenes as well. And like, there was that periods of time. Sorry, there was that periods of time where I was just like, why doesn't the one character die at a time or something like that? I thought that would have helped the plot a little bit more. But you kind of see why they didn't do that, because it's meant to establish kind of a message of they feel as if mutants are different. Like, they don't, mutants are completely different than humans or whatever. That's what the message was, and that they don't try to kill each other. But yeah, it just felt a bit off with some of these action scenes. The next one would probably be the costumes. Now, I'm not talking about the costumes for the Brotherhood. That's fine. Magneto's costume was good. Mystique doesn't even really have. I guess she has a costume, but that was all right. Uh, yeah, the other ones are fine. I'm talking about the X-Men. Now, X-Men in the comics are known for more spandex and like suits and all these all-out suits and stuff, and they're pretty much known for that. But in this movie, they're doing it live action, so it might be a little bit difficult to do that, and I understand that. But in my opinion, they should have not. They shouldn't have made them leather suits. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. To be honest with you guys, I mean it's all right, but like personally, if I were per se going with suit choice, I would go with something like what they were wearing in like Apocalypse, for example, or First Class with those yellow suits. I mean, not those yellow suits, yeah, but like I would say more of the Apocalypse suits. I thought those were a way more better costume choice than wearing just straight up leather. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but yeah, again, it's all right. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll give my overall review here, or sorry, overall rating. And I'm gonna give this. I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. It was a good movie, good franchise starter, but it has its flaws again. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.